Margaret Thompson had been writing songs for 70 years, never showed them to anyone, never thought they were good enough, but at 97, she decided to take one last chance. She wrote a song for Elvis Presley, her final shot at musical immortality. What happened when Elvis heard it changed both their lives forever and proved it's never too late for dreams to come true. If you believe that dreams have no expiration date and that courage can bloom at any age, this story will move you to tears. Hit that subscribe button because we're sharing proof that it's never too late to chase the impossible. Margaret Thompson lived alone in a small apartment in Memphis, 97 years old, widow for 15 years, no children, no family left, but Margaret had a secret. For 7 decades, she'd been writing songs, beautiful melodies, heartfelt lyrics, songs that captured joy and sorrow and everything in between. She kept them in an old shoebox, under her bed, away from the world. Why? Because Margaret believed a lie. She thought she wasn't good enough. It started when Margaret was young, 27 years old, full of dreams. She'd written a song for a local radio contest. Her husband laughed at it. "Honey, stick to cooking, leave music to the professionals." Those words crushed her spirit. Margaret put away her guitar, hid her songs, convinced herself he was right, but she never stopped writing. Late at night when no one could hear, Margaret would hum melodies, scribble lyrics on napkins, pour her heart onto paper. 70 years of hidden music, 70 years of silence. Margaret had loved Elvis since 1956. His first hit, his first heartbreak song, his first everything. She'd never seen him perform live, couldn't afford concerts, but she had every record, every album, every song memorized. Elvis's music spoke to her soul, made her feel less alone, gave her hope when life got dark. And over the years Margaret wrote songs inspired by Elvis, songs she imagined him singing, songs that matched his style and spirit. But they stayed in the shoebox, hidden, secret, forgotten. 1976. Margaret was dying. The doctors had been honest. 6 months, maybe less. Her tiny apartment felt smaller every day. Her world was shrinking. Soon she'd be gone, and with her, 70 years of music would disappear forever. That thought terrified Margaret more than death itself. One cold February morning, Margaret made a decision. She pulled out the shoebox, opened it for the first time in months. Songs spilled out, dozens of them, hundreds of them, a lifetime of hidden creativity. Margaret picked up one song, her favorite, the one she'd written about finding hope in dark times. She called it Tomorrow's Light. "If I'm going to die," Margaret said to her empty apartment, "at least one song should live." Margaret spent 3 days writing the perfect letter. Her handwriting was shaky, her hands' arthritis gnarled, but her words were strong. "Dear Mr. Presley," she began, "I am 97 years old. I've been writing songs for 70 years. I've never shown them to anyone, but I'm dying now, and I have one dream left. I want you to hear this song. If it's not good enough, that's okay. At least I tried. Sincerely, Margaret Thompson." She folded the letter carefully, tucked the song inside, walked to the post office on shaking legs, mailed her dream to Graceland. 3 weeks passed. Margaret checked her mailbox every day. Nothing. She wasn't surprised. Elvis probably got thousands of letters. Why would he notice hers? But Margaret wasn't disappointed. She'd done something brave. For the first time in 70 years, she'd shared her music. That felt like victory enough. March 15th, 1976, 20:30 p.m. Margaret was napping when the phone rang.
"Hello, is this Margaret Thompson?" "Yes, this is Margaret." "Ma'am, this is Elvis Presley. I got your letter. I got your song." Margaret nearly dropped the phone. This had to be a joke, a cruel prank. "I don't believe you," she said. Elvis laughed. That famous laugh she'd heard on records. "Ma'am, I don't blame you, but it's really me. And your song. Margaret, your song is beautiful." For 30 minutes, Elvis and Margaret talked. About music, about life, about dreams deferred and dreams discovered. "Margaret, why did you wait so long to share this gift?" "I was scared. Thought I wasn't good enough." "Ma'am, good enough? This song gave me chills, real chills. It's one of the most honest pieces of music I've ever heard." Margaret started crying. 70 years of doubt melting away. What you wrote about finding light in darkness. That's exactly what music should do. That's what I try to do every time I perform. "Margaret, I have a show in Memphis next week. I want you to be my special guest." "Oh, Mr. Presley, I'm too old for concerts, too frail." "Ma'am, age is just a number when it comes to dreams. Besides, I want to do something special. I want to sing your song. In front of you. In front of everyone." Margaret couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. This was impossible. "Will you come?" Elvis asked gently. Through tears, Margaret whispered, "Yes." Elvis spent the week learning Margaret's song. Not just the melody, the heart of it, the emotion behind every word. He called her every day, asked about her inspiration, her meaning, her hopes for the song. "Margaret, when you wrote about Tomorrow's Light, what were you thinking?" "I was thinking about how hope comes just when we need it most. Even in our darkest hour, there's always light coming." "That's beautiful. That's exactly how I want to sing it."
Memphis Coliseum, March 22nd, 1976. 15,000 people. Margaret sat in the front row. Special seat, perfect view. She wore her best dress, the blue one she'd worn to her wedding 50 years ago. Her hands shook with excitement. Before the show started, Elvis came to see her, knelt beside her wheelchair. "Are you ready for this, Margaret?" "I've been ready for 70 years. Elvis smiled. "Tonight your music gets the audience it deserves." Halfway through the concert, Elvis stopped, spoke to the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is special. I want to tell you about a lady named Margaret Thompson. She's 97 years old. She's been writing songs for 70 years. Beautiful songs. And she's been too scared to share them." The crowd went quiet, listening. "Well, Margaret got brave. She sent me one of her songs, and I'm going to sing it for her tonight. This is called Tomorrow's Light." Elvis sat at the piano. Simple, intimate, just him and Margaret's words. He sang about hope, about finding light in darkness, about dreams that wait patiently for their moment. His voice carried Margaret's story, her pain, her hope, her lifetime of hidden music. When he finished, the arena was silent, then erupted in applause, standing ovation, tears everywhere. But Elvis only looked at Margaret, tears streaming down her face, hands pressed to her heart. After the concert, Elvis brought Margaret backstage, introduced her to his band, to his friends, to everyone who would listen. "This is Margaret Thompson. She's a songwriter, a real songwriter, and she's proof that talent doesn't have an expiration date." Musicians lined up to meet her, to hear her story, to celebrate her courage. For the first time in 70 years, Margaret felt like a real artist. 2 days later, Elvis called again. "Margaret, I want to record your song. Make it official. Would that be okay?" Margaret could barely speak. You want to record my song? I want the world to hear it. Your words deserve to live forever." The recording session was magical. Elvis sang with even more emotion than the live performance. Margaret sat in the booth, watching her dream become reality.
Tomorrow's Light was released as a special single. The B-side featured Elvis talking about Margaret, about courage, about never giving up on dreams. The song became a hit, not because of the melody, but because of the story, the message, the proof that dreams have no expiration date. After the song's release, Margaret received thousands of letters from people around the world, all inspired by her courage. "Dear Margaret, I'm 65 and always wanted to paint. Your story gave me courage to try. Margaret, I'm 80 and wrote a book. Never showed anyone, until now. Thank you for proving it's never too late." Margaret lived 8 more months, the best 8 months of her life. She was no longer just a lonely old woman. She was Margaret Thompson, songwriter. Elvis visited her often, brought other musicians to meet her, made sure she knew how much her courage had inspired people. "Margaret, you didn't just write a song. You started a movement. You proved that dreams don't die just because we get older." When Margaret passed away in November 1976, her funeral was packed. Musicians, fans, and ordinary people inspired by her story. Elvis sang at her service. Of course he sang Tomorrow's Light, but he also said something that became legendary. "Margaret taught me that talent isn't about age, it's about courage." She waited 97 years to share her gift, but when she did, she changed the world. Elvis established the Margaret Thompson Foundation, supporting older adults who want to pursue creative dreams, art classes, music lessons, writing workshops, all for people who thought they were too old to start. The foundation's motto came from Margaret's letter, "At least I tried."
47 years later, Margaret's story still inspires people. Tomorrow's Light is played at retirement communities worldwide. Creative writing classes for seniors cite Margaret's courage. Art therapy programs use her story to encourage participation. Music schools teach about the 97-year-old songwriter who proved it's never too late. At Graceland, there's a display dedicated to Margaret Thompson, her original letter, her handwritten song, photos from the concert. The placard reads, "Margaret Thompson proved that dreams don't have expiration dates. Her courage at 97 changed music history and inspired millions to believe in themselves." Every March 22nd, Memphis hosts the Margaret Thompson Day, celebrating older adults who pursue creative dreams. Concerts feature senior songwriters. Art shows display elderly artists. The theme is always the same: it's never too late. Margaret's story teaches us that society's rules about age and creativity are lies. Talent doesn't diminish with years. Dreams don't expire. Courage can bloom at any age. She waited 70 years to share her gift, but when she did, she proved that the best dreams are worth waiting for. In our youth-obsessed culture, Margaret Thompson stands as proof proof that wisdom enhances creativity, that life experience deepens art, that the best stories come from those who've lived longest. Her courage challenges everyone, young and old, to share their gifts, to pursue their dreams, to believe that it's never too late for miracles.
Margaret Thompson died believing in tomorrow's light, but her story became that light for millions of others. Proof that dreams deferred are not dreams denied, just dreams waiting for the perfect moment to shine. Margaret Thompson's incredible story proves that dreams have no expiration date and courage can bloom at any age. If her 70-year journey from fear to triumph inspired you, please subscribe to our channel and share this story with anyone who thinks they're too old to chase their dreams. Let us know in the comments about a dream you've been hiding, because Margaret's story reminds us that it's never too late for miracles to happen.